If you ain't catch part one of this story, check it out right here on GK David Movie Stories and come watch the conclusion. Big Meech and 50 Cent take over Saudi Arabia. This is better than real life, y'all.
Alright, you kids get to bed, I get the storybook.
BMF Reborn, Big Meech and 50 Cent Take Over America. Chapter 1, The Return. The private jet touched down at Shreveport Regional Airport under the dusky glow of a southern evening. The hum of the engines faded as Curtis 50 Cent Jackson stepped off the sleek aircraft, a tailored black suit draped effortlessly over his frame. A crowd of eager fans and local media lingered beyond the airport gates, hoping for a glimpse of the South Jamaica Queens music mogul. His security team ushered him into a waiting SUV, its windows tinted like the secrets of his latest venture. 50 Cent wasn't just visiting Shreveport, he had bought a sprawling studio lot on the outskirts of the city, an abandoned industrial park he transformed into a creative entertainment hub. This wasn't Hollywood, it was something better. Homegrown and steeped in potential. The plan? To produce a new slate of TV shows and films that would surpass his success with Power and BMF. As the SUV rolled through the small city, 50 gazed out at the streets, envisioning what they could become. It's time to build, he murmured to himself. Chapter 2, Big Meech Comes Home. Demetrius. Big Meech. Flannery was no stranger to power or attention. His name carried weight, a legend rebuilt overseas while he quietly amassed hundreds of millions through Saudi Arabian oil ventures. A month after 50 left the Middle East, he was back home and decided to move closer to his new business partner to keep their good luck going. The reunion between Meech and 50 wasn't flashy. No cameras, no entourage, just two men in a private suite at 50's studio, sharing a bottle of 50's top-shelf cognac, Branson. They'd been through it all. The grind, the betrayals, the fallouts, and the comebacks. Now, they were sitting on more wealth than they could have imagined, and the kind of influence that could reshape the world. Chapter 3, The Vision of a New Black Wall Street. I've been thinking about something, Meech said, swirling his glass. Back in the day, Black Wall Street in Tulsa, those folks had everything. Banks, businesses, their own community. They built something from the ground up, and that shit was beautiful. 50 leaned back, his sharp eyes narrowing in thought.
Yeah, until them crackers burned it down,
he said. His tone wasn't cynical, just realistic. Exactly, Meech replied, leaning forward. They burned it down because they were scared. Scared of what we could do when we're united, when we own something real. But what if we brought it back? Bigger, stronger, untouchable. The room fell silent for a moment, the weight of Meech's words hanging in the air. You talking about a new Black Wall Street? 50 asked. Nah, Meech said with a grin. I'm talking Black Wall Street on steroids. We've got oil money now, Fifth. We can buy the land, build the businesses, create a whole city if we want. No one can stop us this time. 50 let the idea settle, then nodded.
We don't just build it for us, we build it for everybody. A place where black people can thrive without asking permission, but it's gotta be bulletproof economically, politically, physically. They come for us, we're ready.
Meech raised his glass. To the vision. 50 clinked his glass against Meech's. To the new BMF, my nigga. Over the next few weeks, their plan began to take shape. The first step was buying land, a lot of it. After scouting locations, they settled on a humongous plot in Henry County, Georgia. Its proximity to Atlanta made it ideal, and the sprawling rural land gave them room to build something monumental. With a few phone calls and an 8-figure wire transfer, they acquired the plot of land, which was almost the same dimensions as the city of New York. They didn't waste time. Architects, engineers, and urban planners were flown in, signing non-disclosure agreements before being briefed on the project. The blueprint was ambitious, a city designed for black excellence, self-sufficiency, and unity. Chapter 4, 50 working. While construction in Georgia was underway, 50 and Meech focused on Shreveport. The studio became a magnet for talent. Actors, directors, and writers from across the country flocked to Louisiana, eager to be part of something historic. New TV shows were greenlit, each one telling stories that Hollywood had ignored for too long. In the evenings, the two men would sit on the balcony of 50's mansion, overlooking the bayou. They talked about their vision for the future, a self-sustaining black economy, free from the systemic barriers that had held their community back for generations. "We're not just building a city," 50 said one night. "We're building hope, and once people see it's possible, they'll follow." Meech nodded. "Let 'em follow. We'll lead." Chapter 5. Building a New Empire. Big Meech stood on the hill overlooking the vast expanse of land in Henry County, Georgia. Bulldozers rumbled in the distance, clearing ground for what would soon be history in the making. His voice carried power and promise as he turned to 50 Cent. "We'll call it BMFville," Meech declared. "Black Mafia Family City, our family, and this city is going to be the future of black excellence." 50 grinned, nodding in agreement.
BMFville, it is. Let's make it happen, but I want to change the name of the county from Henry to Curtis County.
Why you staring at my booty like that? Since you want to act all thirsty, you need to hit that like and subscribe button for this video. You keep staring at my booty and I'ma tell my man GK, and he ain't gonna let you watch his stories no mo.
The construction of BMFville was like nothing ever seen before. From the ground up, the city was designed to empower the black community, ensure economic independence, and foster creativity. It was a place for innovation and culture, a modern black Wall Street that would never fall. The American news media, as well as social media standouts, started a buzz around the construction of the new metropolis. The heart of BMFville's economic revolution launched with an all-black bank called Chase the Bag, the first black-owned national bank. Its mission was clear: to offer financial services to black entrepreneurs, families, and businesses, free from the discriminatory practices of racist, traditional American banks. Not only did Chase the Bag handle deposits and loans, but it also printed its own currency called the Skrilla. With bold Afrocentric designs honoring black icons, the Skrilla became a symbol of pride and independence. The currency was used exclusively within BMFville, ensuring every dollar stayed in the community. Both 50 and Meech got their own Skrilla dollar bill made, as well as black leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Obama, and countless others. Chapter 6. All Black Everything. Next on their list was an all-black supermarket chain that only stocked products from black-owned farms, suppliers, and manufacturers. They called it Walmart. The shelves were lined with goods that celebrated black culture: spices from the Caribbean, hair care products for natural hair, and soul food ingredients that felt like home. Each store was a celebration of community, with murals of black leaders and local artists showcased on its walls. Shoppers were greeted by staff who knew their names, creating an experience that felt personal and welcoming. Next, the sports world was rocked by the launch of BMFville's All-Black Sports League. It featured reimagined versions of the NFL, NBA, MLB, boxing, tennis, and UFC, offering African-American athletes unprecedented contracts and ownership stakes, which doubled their earnings on white-based teams. One by one, star athletes left the NFL, NBA, and MLB to join the league. With black athletes dominating the playing fields, the remaining leagues were left with significantly reduced talent, and viewership plummeted, especially basketball. No one wanted to watch the sport anymore without all of the tall-ass black dudes dominating it. BMFville's stadiums were packed, and the games felt like cultural celebrations as much as sporting events. The league didn't just change sports, it shifted the narrative, proving that the black community could thrive without outside validation. In the entertainment world, BMFville made waves with the launch of an all-black record label and its own award show to rival the Grammys called the Grams. Every black artist, from rappers to singers, ditched their contracts with mainstream labels to sign with the new powerhouse. The Grams became more than an award show. It was a celebration of black artistry, sort of like the BET Awards times 10, a night where the community gathered to honor its legends and rising stars. No longer tethered to the industry's biases, black music flourished like never before. In the center of BMFville stood the Black Capitol, the seat of the city's government. Next to it was the Black House, a mansion twice the size of the White House, built to symbolize power, unity, and ambition. It was twice the size of Rick Ross's mansion in Atlanta and accommodated 50 Cent's and Big Meech's families. The government was formed entirely of black leaders from all walks of life: activists, entrepreneurs, educators, and artists. When it came time to elect the city's first president, the choice was clear: Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Big Meech stood by his side as vice president, ensuring their shared vision stayed on course. Chapter 7: A Nation Divided. As BMFville thrived, the rest of America struggled. Millions of African Americans relocated to the city, spending their money exclusively within its borders. The U.S. economy crumbled under the weight of their absence. White people's protests erupted nationwide, with many blaming BMFville for America's economic decline. President Trump's frustration boiled over, and he declared war on the city. The attack on BMFville was met with swift resistance. President 50 Cent's army was a force to be reckoned with, comprised of the fiercest soldiers from the fruit of Islam, black military veterans, and organized street gangs like the Bloods, Crips, and Gangster Disciples. The battles were intense, but BMFville's forces were united and strategic. They fought not just for their city, but for the future of their people. The media dubbed it the Second Civil War, and it ended with a decisive victory for BMFville. Over 1,000 BMFville soldiers were exterminated in the 9-month battle, but that number doubled for Trump's military. The gangbangers and FOI soldiers were able to slaughter over 2,200 American soldiers in Trump's military. Defeated, President Trump was forced to recognize BMFville as a sovereign nation within the United States. With sovereignty secured, President Curtis Jackson turned his eyes to the world. He and Meech established satellite BMFvilles in Africa, the Caribbean, and South America, creating a global network of black economic and cultural power. BMFville wasn't just a city anymore. It was a big-ass wave. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol of what was possible when unity and ambition came together.
Y'all niggas better move on down to BMFville. Everybody riding on Forgiatos. We got our own money. Meech is making sure we have a zero homeless population. And the best thing about it is there's no racism within our borders.
Drop the block, baby. Drop the block, baby. Drop the block, baby.
I'm the president now, bitches.